All right, so welcome back to part two. Once again, I am your co-host, Willis, a.k.a. Mr. Willis Close It. I have Ms. Monty Blunt. I have Ms. Sheridan McCorkle. I do have the new Wall Street, nuwallstreet.com, just so y'all remember.
No, it's inwallstreet.com.
In Wall Street. Sorry about that. I almost sent y'all to somebody else. In Wall Street.
Yeah, in Wall Street.
But I do have Mr. Chris Dunlap. I do have Mr. Rich. How do you pronounce your last name?
Chungong.
Chungong.
Yep, from Cameroon, Africa. So
Okay,
pretty
okay.
simple. And like I said, most people usually get it confused and think I'm Asian. A lot of the time.
I thought it
Yeah.
was. I ain't gonna lie to you.
A lot of people.
I thought it was all Asian. I was
Yeah,
like,
funny story on that. Like, I had a coach, and when I was playing college ball, I showed up for the first training camp and stuff like that, and we're doing names and stuff like that. And they got to my name, and I stood up, and my coach was like, "I'm not even gonna lie to you. I swore you was about to be an Asian dude. I didn't even know Asians played football like that." He was like, "To be an African dude with that name," he was like, "It was just completely backwards." So now I get it a lot.
So you literally from Cameroon or like your people?
Yeah, people from Cameroon, the whole nine. Like I said, there's a big African community here in Kansas City as well too. So shout out to the land, doing big things right now. So Cameroon, Africa, but been Kansas City raised for a long time, so got a lot of things that I'm trying to bring to the city, especially with the tech and stuff like that.
So let's kind of unpack who. Obviously you from Cameroon.
Yeah.
Like I said, Chris, I've known you and your background story a little bit, but for you, Rich, crypto is really where you play in.
Yeah.
That's your playground.
Yep.
You don't have to expand because, like I said, there's a lot of misconceptions and notions, and there's I just that's even scarier than stocks to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because for me personally, now it could be different for you, but for me personally, it's just so volatile.
Yeah.
And you see all these things that you read on, crypto, and some people, you don't know what's a good coin to invest in. Obviously, Ethereum, Bitcoin, the top dog that you see about and things like that. But for the beginner person that's looking to figure it out, because a lot of times, like you guys, even in stocks, you'll understand, a lot of times people get into it when they hear about it, but then usually it's too late.
Yeah.
You selling the hopiism, as you said.
Hopium. Yep.
You hoping that, I can be able to make some money off this too.
Yeah.
And usually, it's too late. That wave is already established, so you only getting a bit of it, and then you basically chasing that money.
Yeah.
You're always gonna make some more money in that regards here. So for you, where did that crypto space I want to get in and kind of playing that come from?
Yeah. So Chris actually has been in the crypto space a little bit more for me. I was.
Wow, boy.
Oh my!
Hey, boy, he got
We're
excited.
just talking.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? So I just want.
want.
A lot of people always get on me because I talk quiet because sometimes I try to tone it down and stuff like that. But Chris has definitely been in the crypto space a lot for a while with him talking about in 2013. But I heard about crypto and Bitcoin at that time. At that time, it was more of a dark web kind of thing and how to be able to acquire it and stuff like that. Now you have things like Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, where you can literally just buy it for even as cheap as $1. Those things weren't accessible when I was hearing about it at first, but for everybody else, kind of just to speed things up, I was playing ball overseas in Europe just to start. That ended in 2019. Then that started with the COVID vaccine and all that other stuff going around, basically shut down the whole world. So then I was at home just like everybody else. So the main thing for me is just like what Chris was referring to is that you got to get curious. So for me, I just had to just learn about this stuff because I heard about it, but I didn't really understand it. So I was seeing that people were making money in it, and I was seeing the gambling effect. So I was like, okay, let me throw some money in there, see what happens. I threw some in Binance at the time. Binance is in some deep heat right now.
It's an exchange, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
yes.
actually have Binance on my phone, but like I said, that's right in that stock territory. I can't tell charts. I don't know how to exchange. And then also have Binance. There's a U.S. and then there's the foreign exchange one. That I know Sheridan sitting over there like
Y'all
I don't
speaking
know.
Chinese.
Yeah.
So for me, a good friend of ours, Steve Fennell, he's the one who actually got in, told me to be able to do it because there's just certain foreign cryptos that are not on the U.S. exchanges.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you have to buy it, sell it, then transfer it over to there. Then it's like steps to go through it, and it's like I'm like I don't have the patience to be doing all
Exactly.
this.
especially when it's your money involved.
Yeah, well, not even just that. I just didn't understand, like, it's so many steps. And, like, me, I done forgot passwords and stuff that's on there. I put money on that stuff. I'm like, I don't remember none of this stuff. And I'm like, to reach out to somebody to reset.
That you figured out if it was 400,000.
Hey,
If the money is enough, you'll figure it out.
Where's the headquarters located? Because I need to go and take a quick trip. Yeah, that's a different playground. But see, me, I never invest what I'm not willing to lose.
Exactly.
You know, and so that was always a big thing that I've always learned early on is, you know, as Sheridan said on the previous one, your level of, what is it? The lady had told you, she said the level that you're ready to play at, ready to invest is the level that you're willing to play, or something of that sort. Yeah, you said that a lady told you that the level that you're ready to play is the level that you're ready to invest. In that regard, too. Sheridan looked confused, but she said it. You can look back to our
today.
No, on a previous episode. What I said. No, so and that stuck with me, and I'm like, that's always been something that's been big to me, is because I've never, like, when I used to loan money, I'll never loan money to even people that I'm not willing to not get back. Yeah, and I do the same. Well, I mean, some people they loan out and they're like, I need this money back, and you don't get it, and that's what I feel like that with the stock and crypto. I don't invest anything I'm not willing to lose.
Yeah,
in that regard here. So for you, with crypto and things like that, what are you telling people, or do you help people as well to understand which coins is really going to be, you know, really wants to really look at, and what do you like? Because obviously he gave like top blue chip stocks and things like that. What are those type of crypto coins that you're
looking? So just kind of just on the basis of this, I do help people with the whole, like I said, understanding the whole baseline. I got my mom into Bitcoin. That was one of my things was.
Hey, shout out to Mom Duke. Shout out to Mom Duke.
Because the main thing is that you have to be able to explain it to the people around you, to where it's, for us especially, if I can't explain it to you on how Bitcoin is similar to gold, and then now you understand the underlying factors of, I can invest in it, no different from anything else. But then now you understand the tech and all these other things. You kind of get the premise of it's just like everything else, but now with the tech that it has of blockchain and the finite economics of only 21 million, it gets more complex, but it makes it's no different from.
So I'm gonna slow you real quick.
Yeah,
because you went out there real quick, and a lot of people are like, I don't know what this dude is talking about.
And that's what it's breaking down.
Explain that.
Yeah, so essentially, blockchain technology, or Web3, we'll start with Web3 just as a whole. So Web 1 was the first iteration of the internet. So that was the old school internet where basically you had to pay a whole bunch of money to be able to get on there.
Okay.
You could only post newspapers and very simple things. So think of the very first era of the internet.
Got you.
Dial-up. Can't get on the same time as your mama being on the phone.
Was it that blue light special that they used to have? Chris, you remember?
AOL, all those things where you had to literally take the disc and put it on to get internet.
Yeah.
That's Web 1. Web 2 is everything we're doing right now. So basically Web 2 is more interactive. We can watch videos, we can stream, we can do all these different things. But the thing is that everything is centralized. When you hear centralized and decentralized, the concept is basically Google, Amazon, and all these big time companies have all your information or data in one place. That's the centralization you'll hear. So now in Web 3, what they're moving into decentralization is the concept of now me and you will have our own data, and me and you can own our own money in the concept of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and these different type of things. And now I don't have to trust a bank, which is like a central bank owns all your money. Why is it that in concepts I can have $10,000 in a bank, but I got to let the bank know ahead of time to be able to get my money?
That's
It's because
No, you know me and my conspiracies, and I really want to know your thoughts on all these crypto people being killed off. But
so
we're gonna get into that. I want to know because it's at a certain point in time. Okay, 1 ounce. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But then you start seeing like founders and people of Cash App and all these other people are getting killed. I'm like, and then they try to come out with the story like,
they dying, they not getting killed.
Like
they getting killed.
Did he get stabbed to death?
They trying to say about his sister.
Yeah, it's
it's always something that died in his sleep.
It's always something in the space, and that's why I tell people is that at the end of the day, there are going to be a lot of distracting headlines because at the end of the day, this is a new innovative. We're talking about money, and the internet is completely changing.
Right.
Bitcoin is literally changing people's concepts of looking at the banks that they've had to trust for so long and saying, okay, like, why is it that I can have $1 million, but I can't get cash for it? I got to go and let you know this amount of money because you're shuffling my money from left to right and getting it from this bank and this. Like I said, you guys are in the real estate business. If I have a client that has a certain amount of money. Why does it take 30 days or whatever it is? Because I have all this litigation and all this in betweens or these middlemen that is making me have to do all the checks and the balances, and this person has to get their cut. And so now what you've done is you've stifled innovation in the fact that now something that if I had the money and you had the money and you own this house, I should be able to send you a certain amount, document it, you own the house, we walk off. But
Fair
no.
now.
I'm down for crypto purchasing of homes.
Exactly. So now, but when you realize we've been doing this for thousands of years, back, let's speak in African terms. I'm not even going to talk in tech. Back in the day, we used to use beads as money. You come to me, you have chickens, I would use beads, here you go. Because at the end of the day, it's something that I knew that, hey, he can't make beads on his own. So my time and energy is valuable. But then we had to move to something that beads is just everywhere at the beach. Gold made sense. So then now we're trading our cattle and our chicken for gold. So like I said, it makes sense. So then for thousands of years, Egypt and all these other things, we use gold because it made sense for our time and energy. You can't fabricate gold. That's why alchemy was seen as an evil thing. If you make gold out of nothing, it's like you're cheating me out of your time. Right. But if you really think about modern times, the fact that they can print money out of nothing is modern day alchemy. If I can work for $15 an hour, but a person or a group of people in the Federal Reserve can literally be like, $4 trillion is going to be printed out in the next 2 years. What does that do to my money that's sitting in the bank account? It devalues it. Yep. But we don't apply that concept to money because we're like, oh, yeah, well, the Fed, they make sense and they know money and they have people that go to school for economics and all this other stuff. But they'll keep on telling you if there's only supposed to be 700 pairs of J's come out and then another 50 of those limited edition come out next year, what does it do to the 700?
I bet Willis know.
I do that. I was listening. I was like, yeah, I know that analogy.
You see, so it's like
that.
We understand these concepts of finite economics, but it's the finite economics that makes it seem so complex.
Right.
Louis Vuittons, if there's only 1,000 of them, and then the next year they come out with the exact same version, you're going to be like, oh, well, it's not as valuable as last year. But then now, for instance, non-fungible tokens, NFTs is another concept.
I was going to ask you about that because NFTs, I absolutely have no idea. I've seen paintings and
Chris,
all
they
these
do, but they
other-
don't,
Like,
though.
it's
That's the
a
thing.
gift.
You guys
Is it
do,
like
but you
electronic
don't.
painting?
Yeah, and then also now you starting to earn like real estate in the digital scene and things like that. I'm like, bro, it's a lot.
Everything is being
to unpack.
digitalized.
I'll break down the NFT analogy that I usually use. So everybody here usually has America Express or some types of Amex with cashback, right? So essentially the NFT is the concept of your card is the ID that Amex knows that when you spend at these certain partners, you get points back. The cryptocurrency is your Amex points. Amex points are useless anywhere else. You can't pay bills or anything else. But in the Amex ecosystem, I can use it at these partners. I can go to Southwest. And so you understand these concepts of ecosystems and currencies. But the difference is what they haven't done is said that this digital currency, which is Amex points, is a cryptocurrency. You can't use anything. You can't use it outside of it. McDonald's points is the same concept. You use the points to get food inside the app. One person will walk in, so an NFT, one person will walk into McDonald's, no McDonald's app, pay $4 for a large fry. Another person will walk into McDonald's with the free McDonald's app and get a large fry for $1. Why? Because one person just used a token, which is the app, but it's just a token gated way of you getting this dollar fry. So you understand these concepts. Sam's Club, you can't shop at Sam's Club without a card. Can't get the gas without the card. But if they give you a digital token and said, hey, now if you show this at Sam's Club or at the gas station, now you get the discounted rate. So we have these different type of perks, Kohl's Cash, and all these different type of things. But the thing is that in the Web 2 sense, they don't come together. And they're centralized, and now I can't sell my Southwest points. If I could rack up points and then sell my Southwest points on a decentralized exchange, which is basically just like the stock market, shoot, I can go on vacation and sell 10,000 points for a whole $600-700. That's a decentralized concept. Now I've racked up points and sell it, but we're not at that stage yet because a lot of people are thinking in this closed mindset, and there's very few people that are kind of in the space like me and Chris where we're like, oh, this is everything we're already doing.
Can I add something to that?
Go
So
ahead.
you talk about Sam's Club, and so the next question probably is like, well, what makes an NFT valuable, right?
Yeah,
So
some of them sell for millions. I've seen.
Yeah,
I
crazy.
don't understand how this picture sold for millions.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
so let's use
What
the
about the
Sam's
picture
Club.
making
Yep.
Like
monkey
that, like-
and all these other things like that.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yep.
like that
Like
doesn't
this
make
worth a
any
million?
sense to me. Like why this picture
Right.
that I could have drew back
Hello,
in fourth grade.
put it up there so they know what we talking about when you edit.
So it's the access granted, right? So we talk about Sam's Club. If Sam's Club stopped selling Sam's card, and only people that are holders of it right now were the only ones that had it, they know what they have. Now I got value. So if you want to go shop at Sam's Club, you can only get it from the ecosystem of the holders of Sam's Club, and now we have value to this. So because they don't sell it anymore. So I will say, well, I know a Sam's Club card is only $50 a year, but you can't get them anywhere other than from these holders. So as a holder, I'm gonna say I think this is worth $500, and if you want it bad enough, you're gonna pay for it.
Yep.
So that's how they become valuable, because of what is the access that you're getting with that, and what do people see the value of that access as. It's just like anything else. Nothing really has value. All we trade is emotion,
Ideas.
That's in
human
that book
emotion,
too.
and human sentiment. That's all we trade, right?
Cause I was gonna say, because when I look at this picture, I'm like, it ain't worth me spending no money on. Like, I don't see the value in it.
Because you don't know the access that you get.
Yep.
By
I mean,
having-
it's the
What's the
same
access?
concept of equity.
I'll paint you a picture. Yeezys, right?
Yep.
So let's just imagine Kanye West. Like I said, we'll give you free game right here. Kanye West got kicked out of Adidas, and Kyrie Irving also got kicked out of Nike. The smart thing would have been if those two would have came together and came out with their own shoe, and then with that shoe, the only way you can get access, similar to the StockX, is within an app with a non-fungible token. The only way you can redeem this shoe made by Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, in the fact that they're coming together for the black community, for this shoe that's going to have proceeds that's going to go back to whatever they want to do. And the only way, you don't need no ownership. I don't have to ask you. I don't need no Adidas. I don't need no Nike. And just like that, Yeezys does the same thing. They just took them back. So it changes
They
the
had
concept
to.
of ownership.
Houseway.
They had to.
Houseway.
They had to.
It's
See,
value.
that I could explain that because I'm a
It's
shoe
value.
guy. He knew what he was doing, like in terms of having the leverage. Because with Adidas, they're not going to lose $1 billion, and they had $1 billion worth of product that they couldn't sell. That's why they kept floating out the idea of selling the Yeezy brand and look at Selowitz without his name, because they couldn't use his name on
Couldn't
it.
do it.
But people weren't going to buy it. They only
Exactly.
buying it because his name was on it.
And he won that lawsuit anyway.
Yeah,
Well, he owned the
tried-
silhouettes too. He knew what the contract said. That's
Yeah.
why he kept saying they can't get rid of me even if they wanted to. He knew it was in the fine print.
So do the NFTs, so you're saying that the NFTs give you value like as the same way how like on certain websites, I won't say which ones, you can only use cryptocurrency.
Right.
Yep.
You can't use money. You have to purchase, if you want to buy from
about
this
them
site,
websites.
you have to purchase with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously now you need access to Bitcoin.
Right.
Yep.
So that's the same way that the NFTs work, is that you can pretty much use the NFT as access to something else,
Yep.
but you can't get the access to that without the NFT.
Right.
Exactly.
And then whatever, depending on the value of whatever the asset is that you're trying to get to, that is what creates the worth of the NFT.
Exactly. So just imagine Fenty. Every woman loves Fenty. Savage Fenty, head to toe. Just imagine if tomorrow she moves everything from a Web 2 website and says, hey, you have to download this app on the iOS store. And you get there, and the only way you can get in is by having this NFT. She click on it, and it takes you to OpenSea and says that you have to pay X amount. It's maybe an album, maybe a poster, something like that. It's $150. But it gets you access to the Fenty website with discounted rates.
Beyonce
Starting
kind of
to
did that
click.
with the sales for her concert at first.
She
Like,
did
you
it for
had
the
to
Super
be
Bowl.
a fan or something like
A
that.
member of the Beehive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
So,
no different. Just put an NFT on front of it. It's basically your VIP pass.
yep.
There you go.
So pretty much like, so Savage Fenty has it to where in order to be able to purchase from the website, you have to be a part of like a member of, you have to have a membership.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay a certain amount per month to get access to go onto there and be able to purchase whatever item you want.
Yep.
So basically you would just be subbing out that membership for having to have an NFT.
Now, the real kicker is this. If I'm smart, what I do as a company is I'll give those people a discounted rate, because what I've done is
They do.
in the black
Yeah,
in the
that's
black
what I meant.
community.
That's what I meant. They give you a discounted rate if you're a member.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're paying full price. You may pay $69.95,
Mm-hmm.
whereas otherwise you're paying a $49.95 membership, but you can get it for $20.
And I'm
Exactly.
convinced even when you have the membership, you still paying full price somehow.
So then
Because
now-
I've been like, I have $200 credit on here, but this kind of.
Exactly. So then now think about this. I've basically made everybody in my community ambassadors, because now I'm essentially the plug. If I got a Nike NFT and I got 5, 10, 15% off, and I know you got to pay the full price, hey, bro, come. I can get this to you for 7% off. And I keep the little bit.
Right.
And then now what I've turned is I basically become an ambassador, and if I have enough influence, I can be able to be like, if I'm a kid, NIL deals. These are things in the black community. We run everything in the ecosystem. So for us to understand how money and value is changing, like websites is a cool thing, but like now when you're getting to the point where nobody does word of mouth better than us.
Right.
If in the concept of real estate, like I said, you tokenize things and warranties, what else is the whole checklist of things that you guys have to do in
Deeds and
real
titles
estate.
too. They're doing that already, tokenizing it, where they're putting like deeds and titles to homes on the blockchain.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen
And
it.
it's essentially an NFT, right? It
Yeah.
shows that I own this home, right? So that way, for like, I think it's like big in Houston where people will come in and squat and change deeds and all that type of stuff. You can't do that when it's stamped on the blockchain
Yep.
because
Right.
it's immutable, which means that you can't go back and reverse it. So that's the whole thing about blockchain. So you think about like an Excel spreadsheet, right? That's a Web 2 database. What the blockchain does now, it gives you a block of data and it locks it once it's stamped, and then it chains them together. So you can never go back and crack that open again. So that's what makes the blockchain valuable, which is the underlying thing of crypto and NFTs. That's what makes it so valuable.
Almost sound like right of first
So it's basically
refusal.
instead of going through the bank, like with crypto, instead of going from A to B to C, you're just going from A to C.
Absolutely.
You're cutting out the middleman.
Basically.
And that's probably
So-
why they don't like it, because
Exactly.
the government is in control
Well, I
of the
mean,
bank.
they're gonna find a way to.
Nobody uses
Because just
it.
imagine
You know,
when
there-
black people don't need to go to the bank, when I can literally just go to my neighborhood and be like, hey, guys, let's create a decentralized autonomous organization running as a
Bomb you
nonprofit.
like Black Wall Street.
And like I said, and now this is the thing, though.
What?
But this is the thing, though. Black Wall Street was in the physical space.
Right.
How you bomb the internet?
Right.
It's gonna. I feel like the government is gonna
They
try
are.
to come in and regulate it because it's almost like right of first refusal.
They're always gonna get their money out of it somewhere. They're always gonna get a.
They
They
cut
gonna
of-
find some
cut of
law
the
where
pie
you're
somehow.
cutting these people out, and so it's gonna.
They're already doing it. That's
Yeah.
why the SEC is going after all of these crypto exchanges. Like Binance is out of the U.S. They're like, I'm getting out of here. Coinbase is probably going to leave the U.S. for a while until the government calls up their hounds. They've literally sued almost every large exchange over the last year for that reason.
I've been seeing
After
that.
working with them
Yep.
to give them the rules and regulations
To
on
do
how
an
they need to
IPO.
run things.
Because Coinbase is even
It's public.
trading.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like, how can you go through the SEC, make billions of dollars, and you don't know nothing about what we're doing?
Yeah, so they've already been doing
So I
it.
seen
That's
when
why
they
they're coming out
launched.
with that's why they're trying to build out Fed now and stuff like
Yep.
that, which is going to be
Yeah,
their own.
I was seeing
their
that.
own-
Definitely was
Explain
reading
a little
about
bit
that.
more. What is that Fed now? Because I don't have all the knowledge, but I've been seeing like obviously because if we're not stupid. We know that the government is going to find a way to get
Absolutely.
any slice of every pie that they can.
Yep.
They're going to get their money through hook or crook or somebody going
By
to jail
any
over it.
means
You know,
necessary.
they
the
don't
least.
strong arm
They're
their
giving
way
you the
into
least.
getting
They
whatever
want
they
the
want.
most to give you the least.
And so with Fed now, what are some of the things that you're seeing that and how till it's prominent as a more of a forefront? Because right now it's more in the beginning stages.
Right now, the way they set it up is a way. It's like a PayPal on steroids or Cash App, Zelle on steroids. There's no limits, right? If I want to send you $100,000 because I got a flip I want to get into, I can send you that full $100,000 and you have it instantly. It's automatic balances, checks and balances, right? So that's how they're pitching it for now. Eventually, I think it's going to be the backbone for the centralized digital coin, right? So we're going to have our own digital coin in the U.S. We're already in a race against Russia and China to do that. So I think that's going to be the future backbone, and then of course what comes with that is a lot of the regulation and the
Surveillance.
surveillance.
I was
and
gonna
stuff,
say
yeah.
my understanding was you're gonna have to send it through that,
Eventually,
and the government will be able to know how much you made. Period, because it will be no.
yeah,
I
can
took
hide
it
it.
A to C
Cash,
and you didn't know.
yeah.
Like B is gonna be government,
Yep.
and they're gonna know no matter what how much money was and wasn't exchanged. Period.
Right.
And like, not to like get all conspiracy, it scares me when it comes back, bringing it back to real estate a little bit. You know, we always have that conversation. The government wants more rentals. The government wants to be able to control housing. And I'm like, when you pay your rent, they're gonna know,
absolutely.
you know, and be able to control that. And then they'll be like, nope, this can't be sent here. Or,
Or
nope, we're gonna keep this much first. And
or
that's
shit,
the
they'll
part
give
about
them-
it that scares me.
They'll even go as
Yeah,
far
you can't
as
just give somebody. I can't just bring you $100,000 cash in a briefcase
Yeah.
and nobody ever know about
Right.
it. Like now we have to. Okay,
over.
what the hell was this
I
$100,000
think that's
for?
essentially what's that.
And it moves into even crazier facts of, like, for instance, we had, the whole Black Lives Matter movement and things like that. If the government sees that your movement is not aligned with what they're doing, what's to say BLM can't? If you go to this Charlotte or whatever place that you guys are meeting, I can shut off all your money here.
Oh, they've been doing that.
But now I can do it like where you can't even do nothing. You can't buy gas at the gas station, nothing. Like you can't even live. So it's like that's why you see places like Florida where even Republicans who've usually been with the government are turning against this CBDCs and stuff like that. A lot of people hear central bank digital currencies. That's a big thing that people need to understand because it's essentially like U.S. Bank, J.P. Morgan, and all of them being like, hey, they already screw over your money. But now we have a button where we can just constantly keep on pressing these coins that you guys don't understand that most of them will be like, oh, it's just like Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Oh, yeah, I'm just spending. I'm just going to work for 15 tokens. I don't know if you guys will watch Black Mirror, kind of in that kind of
I watched
concept.
like one episode.
Yeah, it's just like
seen it
you'll
yet,
just be
but I
like
love that kind of
working
stuff.
and you'll realize, like I said, and that's why like for me, one of the big things that got me interested in Bitcoin was I had to ask myself, what is money? That's the question that I think that many people don't ever ask. What is money?
And they say, well, we was talking about the book, and it was saying that nothing has value until we as humans give it to it. So if I put $500 in cash on the table, it's pieces of paper. But as humans and as us and the government, we've created that this money has energy, this money has value. So it's not just a piece of paper, whereas it literally is just a piece of paper.
I mean, I was a bank teller. I worked around all kind of money. It didn't
Make sense.
It didn't. It's not mine. So it wasn't like, oh, I was ever tempted.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just paper.
And that was, like I said, for me, what really got me into, like I said, Bitcoin and understanding crypto was I had to ask myself, what is money to me? But understanding the fundamentals of money from gold and all that other stuff is money is essentially, it's the highest form of energy in the fact that you want it to preserve and basically be able to, if I spend 5 hours in here and I work, I want that money, whatever it may be, steaks, cash, dollars, euros, yen, whatever it is. I want wherever I go, I can go get 5 hours worth of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want next year, like I said, $100,000 should be able to buy me a 2-bedroom house last year and this year if it was doing what it was supposed to.
Right.
But now with inflation, many people explain the concept of inflation and say that inflation is something that's necessary for the economy. Well, really, you can't have inflation without increasing your supply.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, price is just supply and demand. If I have 4-bedroom houses in, like I said, in one area, I can't charge that much. But if I have 1 5-bedroom and there's 4, I can charge more for those because the supply is low and the demand is high. But now when you constantly print money over and over, now you have the concept of, okay, is $1 worth $1?
Right.
Why is eggs $5? Many people didn't even understand why eggs was $5.
Yeah,
But you've been working the same amount.
Box of Fruity Pebbles was $8 the other day.
How many people have been working a salary? We've been working the same amount every year, but their mortgage has gone up, their groceries have gone up, medical bills have gone up, insurance has gone up, but none of their livelihoods is coming up. And everybody always thinks that we have to have multiple streams of income, but it's the problem of money isn't sound.
Right.
Me saving dollars makes no sense. That's why we have to have assets
Because it loses value.
because
So
it
just
loses
sits in the bank.
value.
So how long till we in Web 3? Like,
Web3.
We are there,
oh,
What's that?
I thought y'all was saying we in Web 2.
What's Web 3?
We're in the hybrid.
like a 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely have
In
a
the-
lot
we
of
in the
stuff in
middle.
Web3. Yeah.
We're crossing over to. So let me ask you this, because I've seen where obviously a lot of, because obviously everybody used to trade off the U.S. dollar,
Right.
right? And I've seen where Russia, China, Brazil, and a couple of these other countries have all kind of denounced trading on the U.S. dollar
Bricks.
and are trading on the yen. Is that what they're trading on, or
Yeah.
what are they trading on?
Yep.
The yen,
Yeah.
like,
Yuan,
so
yeah,
the yuan,
Chinese, yeah.
yuan, it's all the same. So
Don't say the wrong thing
so
now.
no, so yeah, so my question is like, what does that tend to do? Because obviously, the U.S. dollar is not going to be as valuable as in my eyes. And I'm like I said, I'm not in the space that you guys are in, where those things are traded on, and then obviously that affects stocks and everything else like that. So in your seat that you're sitting in as our experts, what does that tend to? What are you forecasting that's going to do to the U.S. dollar in terms of? Does that make it weaker, or are we gonna, because obviously we're not gonna stop printing money, which is already devaluing the dollar anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So when other countries that were typically relying on the U.S. dollar to be traded on are not now doing it, and these are some superpower countries that are doing it. It's not like you got these small countries doing it, but now you have superpowers doing it. What does that tend to do?
Oh man, I could go real deep in this.
Please.
I her face.
You know
I
I
don't know
love
if the camera-
conspiracy.
Everything's a conspiracy now. So
Oh man, so
Should that make me afraid as a,
which pill you want?
We
That's
are-
the question. That's what
this
we're
is
at.
what I'll say. We're too important to the global ecosystem for it to really have an effect on the U.S. dollar. We import too much. We export too much. We bring too much value to the world. It won't be in our lifetime. I don't believe that we will see it really impact the U.S. dollar. Before that happens, I think we'll be all digital. To be honest with you, and then
because that was what I was getting to. Because I'm like, if everything is going to the decentralization and everything that you guys are talking about, then how does that affect things where you see that happening? It's like if we're moving this way, but this is happening now, like the correlation and how soon until that's.
If you went to Ghana, right, and you were doing work over there and you brought some stuff back or whatever it may be, or you send her over to Ghana with a pack or something, right? And you say, get this off.
Pack just touchdown.
Right. When you come back, it's like, I don't care what you traded in amongst those African countries. I want mine in dollars. That's how we look at it. I don't care what y'all do over in Saudi Arabia. I don't care how you sell your oil. I don't care what you do between China and Russia. You pay us in dollars when you want to do business with us. And they're going to have to continue to do that because we're not going to budge, right?
Yep.
So in the short term, I think it was like a little scary, but I think we're too important to the ecosystem. And then when I talk about going deep, I don't know if you guys have heard of the BIS, which is the Bank of International Systems, right? Bank of International Settlements.
No, never heard of it.
They're at the top of everything. They run it all. That's Hydra. That's the hidden hand that's behind everything. So when you think about, we have our regional banks, then we have our credit unions, and then we have our JP Morgan Chases, then we have our Federal Reserves, and then we have the BIS, which
It's like BlackRock.
controls everything that everybody does. So they say who's going to spend what where.
Like the Koch brothers? Is that what you?
No, way above the Koch brothers.
It's like BlackRock.
It's called the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements. They are the ones that get
Where
involved.
they located?
Everywhere, anywhere, all at once. That's where
They're
they
the
are.
ones that get
I
involved.
love how that was the one time he took a pause.
He's like, I ain't gonna say nothing
Yeah.
about the.
Yeah, so they're the ones that get involved to tell the Federal Reserves of all the different countries, right? Of all the different continents and countries. Like you have a Federal Reserve of China, you have a Federal Reserve of the U.S., you have a Federal Reserve of different countries in Africa. They're the ones that tell all the Federal Reserves how they're going to operate and how they're
So
going to
that's
play well together.
when we be like the powers that be. That's really who we talking about.
Yeah, they're the ones who tell you how you're going to play well together. And I don't think they're going to say, okay, we're going to take the U.S. off the board, right?
Yeah.
Until they do that, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
You said something. When China has to get other people on board. I mean, China has the biggest population, don't
Absolutely.
they? So I'm like, when you have to get other people on board to try and go in your direction, that's saying something about how strong the U.S.
It's
is. You got to get other people to be on your side.
Yeah.
It's also another thing too. I mean, I think that another thing that's going to factor into the U.S. not losing its power is the fact we see how China treats its people.
That
Like
too.
its people. So as much as we don't think that the dollar doesn't have value and things like that, are we going to trust China to come out with its own digital currency?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then now when I trade my money, I got to hope that China has my best interest
Yeah.
to make sure everybody now understands, even those people like Brazil, India, and China, they're like, all right, I'm watching y'all because I see how you treat your folks. Yeah. So everybody's kind of going to this disincentivized thing where I think that tech kind of like now we trust tech more than anything. Yeah. If I tell you that I have an iPhone and I send you a text message and you get a green bubble, you're going to be like, this.
Yeah,
lying.
Android users, man, don't text.
You lying.
I be hate when my clients I text. I'm
Hey,
like,
bro, I got an
green bubble.
Android, man.
I know. That's what I was
Chill
talking
out.
about
But-
too.
but-
That's how I knew your phone was dead because the bubble was green.
See, and see,
I was like,
Girl,
I'll wait till
I
our phone
was
is
locked
alive.
out.
And see, that's
My
the thing.
phone done died.
And see, that's the verification that we're getting to this point where, unfortunately, we trust technology more than we trust humans.
Right.
If I tell you, hey, I got 10 bands and I can't show you my bank account, trust the matter is that you're probably lying.
I was gonna say that concept, like I think people are gonna pay for that Apple thing
Yeah,
absolutely.
because
They
it's
will.
Apple, and I'm
Because
like,
it's
I want all
Apple.
my stuff the same.
Exactly, because now it's like it comes back to perspective and value. One person may see 3,500, another person's like, well, for that 3,500, I know I'm good for the next 3, 4, 5
That's how it
years.
is with an Apple iPhone, like $1,000 for a phone, but it's Apple though.
Everything. I
So
got is Apple.
at the end of the day, that's why I think that it's values. America has pride on its side for sure. America will never
Yeah.
never go to the fact that, hey, I got to use somebody else's euro, yen, or whatever it is. So that's another factor as well. And then I think that, too, at the end of the day, America's kind of going to look at the fact that, all right, how do we stay ahead?
Absolutely.
Like, they're not foolish. The fact that we're sitting here having these conversations, people are on YouTube talking about the dollar's losing value. You think they're not watching this? Like, that's why I tell people, too, it's like, you got to also,
That's
they're
what I
not
was going to
stupid.
ask, too. Like,
got a
is the
question.
dollar actually losing its value?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, every year. I mean, since the 1920s.
1913?
Yeah, 1913, we've lost
Long game.
99% of our value.
Yep.
It's because the cost of goods go up, right? But the dollar still is worth $1. So the cost of goods go up. So, yeah, you're definitely losing your buying power. But when you think about another reason why the dollar won't really, suffer that much because of BRICS, right? It's going to naturally lose its value because we just have inflation and, like I said, cost of goods. But have you ever heard of a billionaire saying, man, I got all this money now, I want to go get a condo in China?
No.
But you hear Chinese billionaires say, I got all this money and I want to come get a condo where?
L.A., New York.
Where they buy that farmland.
Exactly, right? So we're still too valuable to the global ecosystem for us to ever really fall off like we have in the past.
I be thinking about Resort World. Have y'all been to Resort World in Vegas?
No, I haven't.
I'm like, it's a cool. I hate Vegas. Y'all know that. But like, I was like, this is an impressive casino. Like, I mean, you've been to the whole strip, and I'm like,
Probably all foreign owned.
it literally is a Chinese casino,
Like I
and I
said.
was just like, dang. It's interesting to me that they chose here to make this.
Because you can't do it in China. Because there's no space.
Ain't no freedom either. to
Ain't
do
no
that.
freedom.
It's huge.
You know, be in an amusement park when they scan your face for jaywalking and they slap you with a fine the next day.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't having fun over there.
I have another question about the NFT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, I know we were talking about kind of like how that works into assets and
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
So is it sounds like it's definitely kind of similar to the stocks and things. Like I know you said it gives you access to things that you can't get access to without the NFT. So is it that as the longer that you hold the NFT, maybe the value of whatever you need the NFT for, that's going up in value? So that makes your NFT, like say the Rihanna Fenty, she only got 100 people that's members and have the NFT to access it. Now, it's going up and more people are wanting the access to it. So now the cost of the NFT is going to rise
Exactly.
Yep.
Is that how you essentially kind of make your money off of that? Like it goes up, and then you can finally sell it?
Yeah.
You wait for it to appreciate?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, more or less, it's just sales psychology. I mean, it's just really just the concept of you have either a limited amount or you have so much value. Like I said, you could have Amazon. Amazon could come out with 1 million Prime NFTs tomorrow and say, hey, the only way you get Amazon Prime perks of 2-day shipping, video, and
I
all
need
this,
that NFT.
you getting it. But then you think most people will be like, oh, well, 1 million's a lot. Okay, think about how many people have Amazon Prime right now. It ain't enough.
Right.
So then now you realize, like what you were saying before, the power is now back in the holders. It was $100 to get it, but if I got it before you, well, I'm gonna charge you 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is, because now you can't get 2-day shipping without this.
Right.
So now what it is at the end of the day, now if the holders as well too create value as well. Now if you're like, hey, look, I sell shirts or whatever it is, and I'm gonna sell with you, or in the concept of, like I said, in the Black community, you do hair, I do nails, you do real estate and all these other concepts, and we can figure out some type of collaboration to where you can get discounts or I can get help on your credit or whatever it is. Now I've added value without even the tech concept, but just the literal value I can pump into it. And that's just an artist sitting down with business people and saying, hey, how can we bring value to this said project? So it's really endless in the possibilities, and that's why when people say what gives the NFT value, it's the creativity of the person creating the NFT. And then now the community that you build alongside it is essentially who can basically champion it because the fact that you brought this value to the forefront.
So
It used to be the wild, wild west, and people were buying it because of the FOMO, right? Just like the Dogecoin conversation.
It was fear of missing out.
Yeah, but now NFTs, you brought up companies and stocks, right? They issue these NFTs for the same purposes, research and development, to raise money so they can continue to innovate. So now when you look at NFTs, you're looking at the ones, what are NFTs that are actually built out as companies that are driving innovation and continue bringing innovative value, right? So to the access that you get. Like I got NFTs that give me access to masterminds, right, with people that are, multi, right, that I can get in conversations with, but you can't do that without the NFT. So it's all about how innovative are these companies becoming now. So now NFTs are just like pretty much like the stock
Yeah.
stock market.
So I have a question. Is because I felt like, especially during COVID, where like certain cryptos was like going through the roof, going crazy. Is crypto dead in a sense? Because you don't see the same hysteria
Definitely
around
don't.
it. The same with NFTs. You don't see the same like feeling that you was a couple years ago when it felt like that was the new kid on the block. Everybody was talking about, because I know crypto's been around for forever, but it felt like the conversation was just on 10 a couple years ago. Especially during that Doge phase and everything like that. It just felt
Everybody was
like
a cryptocurrency
everybody needs
advocate.
exactly. So, but you don't see that
Crypto
anymore.
bros.
Like
Right.
because stocks and crypto is not sexy.
Yeah.
It's not really sexy in that regards here. So my question is: it dead? Like, is that like lane, or is it still like a lot of money to be made in there? Because as we're still talking, obviously I know stocks and like you said, the year over year for the last 300 years. But crypto, like, how long has it been around? Like, is it something that still you can see the ROI, the return on investment? Is that still something that you're seeing a solid return year over year? And are there safe cryptos to really go after? Because there are some that I know that is real volatile where you can pop and it's gone.
Yeah.
But are there safe ones like stocks, like you said, where the blue chip ones where you can get a slow return and a dividend and things like that? Do you have that in crypto?
Next time on Dragon Ball.
Yeah, for sure. I think that your safe ones is obviously you can look at the charts and say Bitcoin's the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah,
It's just basically gold. So Bitcoin is the safe bet. Ethereum's about the same in that same sector of basically it's number 2 and things like that as well. So you want to go with those top few ones especially, but I think that you have to go with what's important to you. Starbucks just recently came out with its own NFT.
I love me some Starbucks.
I love Starbucks.
So
I'll get an NFT.
Exactly. So Starbucks has an NFT that basically, you do, it's a thing called Odyssey and a passport and different things like that. And so like you basically like purchase things no different from what you're already doing, and then it gives you like within an app.
Oh, you mean the Starbucks stars?
But see, what they did is they just changed the concept of now you own this actual NFT, which I think they're going for $600.
Hold on.
We both trying to look at our
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Me an
Hold on.
NFT.
Let's answer,
So
let's
real
answer your
quick.
question. He
So,
asked,
yeah,
is there still money to be made?
Yeah. He showed me. So, we had a little sidebar right here
Right.
where they was talking about Starbucks and stuff. So I asked him simply, was it money to be made? And he showed me like one of the cryptos, and the return on investment was 341%.
Right.
Yep.
And so
300 what?
341% return currently in the play that I'm in on crypto.
Ooh.
And so the thing with crypto, it's not dead. And yes, there's still money to be made in it. And the reason why you don't see the hype and the mania is because, with us, if we lose money, we lose interest. And we say that it doesn't work, so we exit.
Yeah.
Right? But there's still people. I mean, the crypto market cap is still $1 trillion. So there's still money to be made. Now, the thing that I learned with crypto is that it's just like stocks. You hold your blue chips, which is your Ethereums, and your Bitcoins, and you hold those long term for your portfolio. But then you trade the others. Like that play that I showed you was that Pepe coin. Everybody was talking about that.
Yep.
Pepe coin.
Pepe coin. Yep. Meme
I didn't even
coins.
know about it. Somebody called me and was like, "Man, what you think about this coin?" I'm like, "Well, I've seen this happen plenty of times,
Yep.
so I wouldn't touch it. But I know how to trade, so I know that I can make money if something goes up and something goes down.
Yep.
And what I know about these meme coins is that they're going to go down. So when I looked at it, I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is about the reverse." So I got into a play that I've been holding on for the last 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Based off knowing how to trade, and right now it's up 341%. But the crypto, when it first jumped out, yeah, there are people that it shot up, a couple 100%. But now I know that it's going to have to come down about 1,000%. So I'm gonna hold it for a while on the downside. So when you know how to trade,
Why would you do that though? If it's
because
on
it's
the
going down,
downside.
I'm trading the downside.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. Why am I trading?
There's always a way to win.
Yeah, when you know how to trade, when you learn how to trade, you can trade almost any asset. You know what I'm saying? Like you could trade futures. I could trade cotton if I wanted to and get reparations.
Not trade.
You know what I'm saying? No, seriously.
Very true.
In the futures, I could trade cotton, I could trade corn, I could trade oil, whatever, or I can trade stocks, or I can trade cryptocurrencies, whether
Explain
they
the future so
go up
people
or
are
down.
listening. They
So
don't-
futures are contracts that
I was
are
like, how we gonna do in the future?
futures are concepts
Contract
that are
lawyers, right.
typically like 30 to 60 days out that say this is what I think that this commodity is going to be worth, right? These future contracts. But when you know how to trade, you understand that you can make money once something goes up or if something goes down. So if I look at a meme coin that everybody's talking about, get in, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm a contrarian trader, right? Because I know eventually it's going to go back down because the people at the top are going to sell out.
So you're trading and betting that it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's because I was wondering, like I said, when you said I'm betting, I'm holding on to why it goes down. I'm like, that's in my mind, that's the wrong thing to do. Like I'm getting out of it.
No,
but when you said you're betting that it goes down, a futures, that within the next 30, 60 days it's going to go down, that makes more sense.
Yep.
And
so you can make money and just ride it down.
Like a fantasy team.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, if you know, like I said, if you know the you're going against a bad defense. I mean, a good defense.
No sense.
I don't even do fantasy sports, so I don't know where that connection was.
Nah, I mean,
it's
just like
y'all picking fake players.
I mean, it's just like no, but I mean, it's just like going on DraftKings and knowing that I know that we're playing against a good defense.
Yeah.
We're probably not gonna have 400 yards passing. So then now, like I said, in the trading sense, you're like, okay, I bet that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 250. He ain't going to throw for 300 because they're the best defense.
It's
in the world.
imaginary.
So now it's the research and stuff. I understand the concept.
I don't do sports and I don't do stocks, so I'm just trying to.
I understand the concept.
Somebody out there is like me too.
I understand the concept though, but
Somebody gonna be watching like, I see what you're saying.
Right,
Shorty.
exactly.
And there's gonna be a lot of people watching. Like, what is she talking about?
My boyfriend
No,
be
it's gonna be
watching,
people who
I
don't play
get what
sports
she's
like
saying.
it. Thank you.
I get what she's talking about because I always be losing on DraftKings.
You know, the thing about it is, you guys say, hey, I don't know anything about stocks. I don't know any of this type of stuff. But you guys know real estate, right?
Yeah.
It's all pretty much the same thing. When you're looking at real estate, before you get into a play, you want to look at, what's the neighborhood? Is this going to go up in value? Am I buying this at a discounted rate that I'm getting some appreciation in? It's no different when you're analyzing a business, right, that you're buying, right? When you buy stocks, you're buying shares, but you're actually buying the business. Do I think it's a strong business? Is this business in a great neighborhood? Will this business make me money? Does it has a good walking score? Are there
Can I
good
walk
schools
in a
around?
business and tell them that I own a piece of this? That hey, y'all work for me now.
You get these
Like,
things
I
called
am the meta
prospectuses
owner.
that they
And
send
when
you
we
out.
done, will you look at my Rivian stock?
I am the owner of Meta. I don't think
Get
y'all know
rid
who
of
I
it.
am.
People been driving around with them. They look good.
They do look good, but you want best in breed.
yeah.
Like I told you, Tesla got 67% of the market. Why would you
You
bet
got the
against
kitchen you can add. Never mind.
it? I had a buddy who asked me the same thing when Rivian was $60, and I told him to get rid of it, and he didn't trust me, and now it's
So
$14.
money manager.
I tried to tell him.
Not a money manager.
See that he be banking these plays. That's why you need to go to nwallstreet.com.
In
Wall Street,
WallStreet.com.
in
I
Wall
can teach you the
Street.
game.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it for you.
I mean, I want you to do it for me.
What
Teach 'em
Bone
how
say?
to-
You got to
teach
put
'em
your
how
own
to
work
fish.
in around here, bro.
All right, man, but I'm saying I
$68
pay you a
crypto.
service fee
Hey,
for
man.
doing this for me.
You got more than
Ain't-
most.
ain't nothing
You
free.
ahead. Like I
Yeah.
said, that's how you get started. But even you were talking about, like I said, making money in it. Like I said, you was talking about the trading factor. Me, I started focusing on building the tech in the space. That's another thing too. A lot of people hear the concept of bear market. You'll hear the bear market,
Explain
bear
what
market.
that is.
Bear market is basically when in a bull market everything's going good, 68,000 Bitcoin, as we were talking about before. Everybody's like, "Oh, Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Everything feels great."
Bitcoin to the moon.
Bitcoin to the moon. Dogecoin to the moon. It seems like you can't miss. Everybody's a crypto bro, but a bull market is essentially what we're doing right now. Both on the start. A bear market is basically on the same concept of everything is just bleeding. Essentially down 30, 60, 50%.
Yeah.
And it seems like nothing can hit. But that's where, like I said, the trading concept comes in. That if I understand, okay, this person came out with this product or this person is going to rebound, I can buy it for the low. And essentially what you're doing is you're getting these same companies for a discount. You would go to Ross and get things on clearance because you saw the Nike shoes that is normally, $60 for 30. The shoe ain't changed. You just getting it for a better price.
That's what they kind of be saying, like on Earn Your Leisure. Like, this is the time to become rich.
Exactly.
It's no
Because-
different than you buying houses in the market crash.
Yeah, they say
Same
that
thing.
rich people don't panic when recession happens.
Oh,
They get
no.
happy.
Exactly.
Because it's always an ebb and flow.
creative.
Rich people clearance. That's it.
Everything goes up. They they buy at the dip. They sell it when it's at this peak.
Yeah.
Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yep.
Same thing. And I'm guessing with stocks does the same thing because I've seen people do that.
And crypto.
Like I said, for me, even crypto. But for me, I don't know. When I just feel like when I'm in a more of a tangible asset, like I said, with real estate, I can see it. Okay, I know the market. And I guess it's just a knowledge factor of studying it and understanding, becoming comfortable in that lane.
Yeah.
And for the casual investor like myself, that makes me uncomfortable when I see, like I said, I wake up and it says I'm losing money
Right.
because I can't touch it to stop it.
You can. You sell it.
Yeah. And that's the only time you actually lose money.
You're more liquid with the stock market than you are with real estate.
Well, no,
Exactly.
I'm saying in a certain sense of, in the fact that when, let's say that Netflix, like you said
Yeah.
there, if I had bought it, you know, when I saw it and then I saw it dropping, when you made that post, I would have sold, like, got out of it. I'm not holding it and waiting for it to go, because I don't know how far that slide is gonna keep going.
Right,
When do I cut the arm off to save the body?
right.
And that's
Because it kind of
analogy.
feels like gambling.
Yeah.
If not.
Yeah.
But
You know,
If
so-
you don't know
so-
what you're doing, it's definitely
Exactly. It's not gambling if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They
I
said it
mean,
on
'cause I know
Hangover.
you obviously
Alan said
have made taken some L's, as every investor has, especially in the stock market. But how are you still comfortable? Like, obviously, is it just because you won more than you lost?
Absolutely.
You know, obviously, you still here clearly, so it's probably still working for you.
Yep.
But how do you, obviously, in a chart, have you missed on certain stocks that you like? I knew that this was going to do this and just completely didn't, even with your research and knowledge level?
Absolutely. It's all about risk mitigation, right? It's about how much you want to make more when you're right than you lose when you're wrong. So it's all about risk mitigation. So for me, I look at something, I need a 1 to 5, 1 to 6x risk, right? If I'm going to put up $100, I need that play to return me 600. And my risk mitigation is going to be, I'll lose 50. I'll take that bet every day. Lose 50 or make 600. I'm going to do that every day. It's no different than real estate. And I'm still here because I took L's in real estate too.
Not with
Like-
me.
it's
Not
like-
with me, by the way.
Yeah, not with you.
Not with me, by the way.
My
I'm going to
first-
go ahead and put that out there. It ain't with me.
I
We
mean,
always
it's
make
kind of
money.
like buying a duplex. Like, wouldn't it make more sense for me to buy one that's 170? I can make 1,000 on per month versus one that maybe is totally moving ready and it costs more, and I'm not making that much on the
Yeah.
rent. Yeah.
It's all information. Like I said, that's all things that you did the research. It's not a gamble. for you.
She over here looking at stuff. She ain't even,
I got-
she
I
is
got a
checked out
question.
from the
My
conversation.
biggest L was
I'm
real estate.
listening. I'm
Nah, that's
stock
good.
market.
Like I said, you're interested.
I know.
now,
I
like
was
I
looking
said,
at mine too, but I don't know.
My biggest L was real
say
estate.
3 year,
Talk about it.
90%
We don't-
return
Shoot,
rate.
same
Why
here.
was your
Well,
biggest L real
are you
estate?
comfortable to talk about telling? I mean, you ain't got to name names.
Hey.
What
Because
happened?
You
just
can name names.
no, I ain't gonna name names. It's just like
I'm
the
being
stock
messy.
market, right? Timing's everything. Your entries are the most important thing. The entries and the exit. I got into a real estate deal. Everything was going
Hold up,
great.
hold up. What year?
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Got into a real estate deal. Everything was going great. Everything was going great. The numbers made sense. Everything made sense. COVID hit.
COVID did everything.
COVID hit.
Unexpected.
Drove everything into the ground, and we tried to hold as long as we could. Right.
I think I just met you during that time.
Yeah, but COVID kept going.
Yeah.
Right. So we held as long as we could until we had to get out of it.
Was it commercial or something?
It was condo builds
Okay.
on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you look at the
All
highs and
6-figure
lows?
deals.
Of the stocks?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
how I say like 52-week high, 52-week low.
Absolutely.
Because then now you can look at it and be like, okay, well, if it's at half of that, and I'll be like, okay, for instance, Nike, are they coming out with more stuff? Do I think Nike's going to continue to
Right.
do well? Apple, those different type of things. And then now you just basically say, all right, let me get 1 share or 10 shares, and then now you just continue to ride it out. And then kind of like Wall Street Trapper was talking about, it's a perspective thing. When you own Nike or Apple and you see a line outside of Nike, you're like, okay,
My stock going
My
up.
stock
Like
going
driving down the street in a Rivian the other day.
it makes you look at it different. You ain't got to own
did,
it.
And I'm like, I got stock and I've never even seen the inside, but it looked good.
Exactly.
When
You'll
you
check up
start
on the commercial.
seeing a Rivian everywhere you go,
I believe you. I'm
then you
just
get
saying
excited.
that-
No, I'm just saying that's when you get excited. Like
Yeah.
if I go to Seattle, almost 1 in every 3 cars is a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? So you know it's moving units.
Right. Yeah.
How many Rivians have you seen? 1 or 2? Exactly.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for both of y'all.
All right, cool.
Okay, I know it might be a loaded question, but just okay, go with it. What are 3 things what are 3 companies that we should for sure be in, and 3 cryptos
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
the
For
last
real, 'cause
6
I got
months of
my
this year?
Stuff pulled up right now, ready to
I know it's a loaded question because you probably I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna keep that, but just for the everyday person.
Well, like I said, you got to go best of breed. The number 1 company on the planet is Apple, right? What, 2.8 trillion? Right behind them is Microsoft, 2.4 trillion, right? And then the third one, I'd say it would be a toss-up between Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla.
And you have
Get
all
'em
of
all.
those.
Yeah. So those are all ones, if you're going
Those are
individual.
buy and holds, right?
Yeah, if you're going individual companies, yeah. Those.
I'm more of a long game because I don't want to get on there every day.
Buy and hold and
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing with the consistency, and you'll be good. Or do something like the QQQ, the VOO, the FXAIX, which are just all different S&P 500 ETFs, right?
Okay.
But the different exchanges offer them, like Fidelity has theirs, Vanguard has theirs, Invesco has theirs, right? So or something like that.
What about Mara? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know more.
What you think about that? Looking
Um,
at the return rate, like
Hey, look at shit.
Yeah.
say 90% over 3 years.
yeah. So Mara, because we're talking about Mara, which is crypto, right? They deal with crypto.
I thought that was an AI company, but maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, Mara.
Marathon Digital Holdings.
Yeah, Mara. So they deal with crypto. So the thing with Mara is that they move with crypto. So if Bitcoin's crashing, Mara's going to crash,
Okay.
right? So Mara, I like to, from time to time, I'll trade Mara or Riot blockchain when I see the crypto market moving, because crypto is 24/7.
Right.
So if I wake up at 6 a.m. and I see Bitcoin skyrocketed, I'm gonna get in when the market opens, and I'm gonna jump in Riot or Mara,
Makes sense.
get my money for the day and get out because I see the crypto market moving. So
Kathy Wood sells 98 million worth of Tesla shares ahead of possible Fed-induced market validity.
I like Kathy Woods. She's done well in the past, but over the last 2 years, she's not been doing very well. So
That's probably why she had to sell that.
yeah, she ain't been doing
98 million.
her fund. If you go look at the ARK investment fund, it hasn't been doing very well at all because she sold a lot of tech companies at the low when the market crashed. Like she sold Nvidia, and then Nvidia went up 150%. You know what I'm saying? She don't, she's done well in the past. I don't know if a lot of it was luck, but she hasn't been proving herself to keep that streak up when everybody else doing well, right? So,
All right,
but I trust myself over anything.
3 cryptos.
Three,
Obviously, now I'm gonna give you a toss up, all right? Because
Yeah.
everybody knows Bitcoin and Ethereum, so we know those 2. Give us 3 other ones that.
ooh, man, that's hard.
See, I gave you a toss up because I should have gave it to him where he couldn't give me these blue chip stocks.
It's interesting because at the time that it comes that the SEC recently just had their ruling that they're going to try to basically strong arm cryptocurrency. I would probably say without those 2, XRP has been doing a lot of things internationally.
I've heard a lot about. They're in a lawsuit.
They're in a
with the
lawsuit,
SEC,
but
right?
and this is why I tell
actually own
people
that.
exactly. This is why I tell people with the lawsuit thing, don't get caught up in the fact that they're in a lawsuit in America. It doesn't change the fact that they've made international deals with Saudi Arabia, big time money. That if they're the ones who's going to be settling oil money and all this brick stuff is happening, now you realize that value concept that if I can get XRP and then now Saudi Arabia is like, hey, we don't trust China, but we will get this XRP token and move all our Saudi Arabian money in there. Now you're a person that's a little bit ahead of the game. So I think
Yeah, I own a lot of that.
Yeah,
I put
XRP
a lot of money in the XRP because I just heard that once it finally settles with the SEC, then it's going to shoot up
because it's going to
That's
be
what I've
clear
always
rules
heard.
coming from that.
Potentially, yeah.
I would have said Solana because of the fact that they were doing
88,
pretty
is that
well.
what it is? 88?
But like I said,
Cardano.
they recently got axed with the whole concept. They have good fundamentals in the matter of moving things fast, but they had the whole FTX scam and stuff like that too. Cardano is in the same boat right now. I would just say to stick with the 2. Right now, I feel like I tell people I wouldn't say a 3, but the 2 that I
If you're up, sell it. If you're down, you just might as well just hold on.
yeah, because
Do you
Might as well
ever
hold
see
on.
that even doing anything else? Like
I mean,
that's pretty dead, ain't it?
if
You never
Elon's a
know.
pretty big fan of it, so if Elon decides that one day he wants to integrate it into Twitter or something like that,
Yeah.
I'm just hang on to it.
Just like
I had
that.
it this whole time.
Yeah, I would say you might as well hold it down.
I've been
Yeah.
holding on to the same little straggling on of cryptocurrency. I got like $15 in there.
that's it. Just
And it keep going down. I'm like, hey, I don't even care no more.
hey,
Point, it's a lottery
That's,
ticket.
I think that's why
Yeah,
I had never. I'm
I
just,
got my money out of it and I
just in
jumped out of it
case.
quick.
yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, it's a lottery ticket at this point. So I don't ever try to predict anything.
Yeah.
I let the fundamentals and the charts tell me the probability of something going in the direction that I want to go in.
So we're gonna kind of conclude this here in just a little bit,
Right.
but I do want to know, like, for new investors and things like that. Obviously, going to nwallstreet.com.
In wallstreet.com. Yeah.
But what is some advice, for those people that are used to, because in a society where everything is fast paced,
Yeah.
and stocks and crypto is not a fast pace, unless some cryptos are, but most stocks are a long game, patient. Let it kind of do its thing. What is some of the obviously preach patience, but is there anything else they can do to start preparing to understand that? Because obviously on nwallstreet.com, they'll teach you how to be able to start like reading charts and
Right.
things like that on how to be able to start researching these companies and things like that. And then as you said, you put those plays in there, the Discord where you do share, things that you think could, make some money
Right.
in that regards here. So other than that, what else, can new investors and people that are watching this start to be able to prepare themselves to be able to understand that whole avenue of wealth that's out there that we typically weren't privy to?
Right. I would say the first thing is if you want to start investing, look at the top 5 brands that you like, right? And then take those brands and just do a little research. How have they performed? Are they best in breed? And if not, that's probably not where you want to go. Secondly, just ask yourself, like, if you've been trying to do get rich quick over the last 10 years, has it worked? How much have you lost, right? And how much have you won? And if you ain't got to where you been at, what is holding and being consistent and being patient going to hurt you then? Your way hasn't worked, right? And like I said, we're going back to something that's from the 1700s that's been tried and true. Since the 1700s, returning at least 10%, 8 to 10%. That's, like I said, almost foolproof. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, and you talking about 8% a year. For most people, they feel like that may not be a lot, but you don't get that raise at a job, right? You don't get that out of your
They
bank
give you that little
accounts.
50-cent raise and you be happy.
Man.
you go
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
50% raise for 3 years.
Tell the whole family.
And then just download a compound interest calculator and just plug in some numbers and give yourself a time horizon and see where you'd be, right? If you say, I'll start with $100 and I want to put $100 in a month, the market's going to give me, let's say Apple, right? We know Apple's going to give me maybe 20, 30% year over year based off history. What would that put me in 5 years? Give yourself that visualization thing like you guys do, like vision boards and stuff like that. Make that your vision board and say, wow, this is what this is going to get me. So I'm going to stay consistent because I'm trying to get to that number.
Because discipline is hard.
It is.
A lot of people, they say they want to.
That's why everybody ain't rich.
That's that. Hey, say that again.
That's why everybody's not rich. Cause
That's a fact because as we all know, a lot of people, even in real estate, we go through it. Sheridan, we've had plenty of conversations about this. We have different opinions on different topics in real estate. Investing, for some people, it's so different in what people see it.
it's not sexy.
No, it's not. It's not a new, Cartier or it's not a new Birkin or
Yeah.
something like that where it's like showing off in that regards here.
Neither is McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Neither are most jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's the lifestyle you want, I mean, you might as well just go sell bricks because ain't a lot that's going to get you that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So,
saying? Stay off social media. Quit comparing.
If you're like me and you prefer to pay for convenience,
Yeah.
what would you charge? No, seriously. But like, who would you recommend if you just want to have someone like yourself? Like, let's say you want to get into it, but you don't want to
Yeah.
like the long game like myself. I really don't want to do it.
Right. So here's the thing. Yeah, you can get you a financial advisor. That's what I would say, do. Go get you a licensed financial advisor. That's fine. But man, I know we don't want to take the time to learn it for ourselves, but you'll do much better learning it for yourself. I have never underperformed the market. Every time financial advisors reach out to me, I say, this is my performance year over year. Can you beat that? They're like, is what? Like, exactly. So I'm not
they
trying to
gonna
be a
charge you.
jerk, but there's no need for us to have a conversation because you can't beat this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that comes from learning it myself, right? There's
So I want to ask you one question. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to cut you off because I know that when we started, we said that obviously investing is something that you do, but also you work a 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
the people that are watching this is like, well, I work, I don't have time. How do you carve out the time to be able to invest at the level that you do and you still go punch a clock?
remember, just like you do, right? You have your investments just come out monthly, right? When you stay consistent, you just have them come out your money monthly. Have my dividend drips that just once I get paid out a dividend, it goes back into it. And then every now and again, first thing in the morning before I start my day, I'll throw my plays out. I'll look and see what the market's going to do. I set an alert, and once my alert goes off, that's when I get into my play.
It's a system.
Yeah,
That's especially when you're in a 9 to
That's
5.
discipline.
It's a
Yeah,
system.
definitely discipline.
discipline.
Delayed gratification.
I don't even wake
Absolutely.
up early enough
Yep.
for that. I wake up and it's time to go.
Now you
Yeah.
got to get up. You got to get
I
up
know,
and see
I
what the
gotta
market's
get up.
doing.
Me, I'm a night owl. Like, I don't like early morning.
Even better.
Yeah.
So
Even better.
how's that better?
Because you can see what's going on in the European markets because all we do is do this, right? We hand off. It's like passing the baton. So you see if the European markets are performing well, most likely the American markets are going to perform well for the next day, right? And then you set your play and get ready for your play first thing in the morning. You sleep, set your alarm, have your wife wake you up before she get the kids off to school, get into your play because you know what it's going to do, set it, have a sell limit, which is like once it hits this certain amount, I want it to sell, and you wake up and you got it back.
6 hours ahead.
Automation. It's right there. Like I said,
Or just
And
consistently
we can
invest.
get you to set it up.
I could talk to you and work with you.
Hey, we getting closer.
can
We
work with
getting
you.
closer.
I don't think my little thing got an option to automatically sell it once it hit a certain.
It
We'll
does.
talk to Chris about setting it up.
We're gonna talk to his agent. We're gonna set it up. You know, his people will talk to your
Go to
people.
nwallstreet.com and book a consultation.
My people is me.
Well, once again,
Other people.
I definitely appreciate you guys. Like I said,
Yes.
taking the time. I understand, you know, you guys both have lives. We all do, family, friends, investments, everything that we got going on. But coming on here, like I said, because we do primarily talk real estate and things
Right.
of real estate. But, you know, like I said, it was on my mind. I'm like, we should have Chris on here because it's not only just about buying the house. It's after the house is closed and all the congratulations is gone, now we got to afford this house.
Yep.
And that's a way to be able to help, be able to offset the cost of that. And also, like I said, we're looking at generational wealth.
Right.
You know, it's not just for us and things like that. So we want to be able to set up that play, like you said, you know, to be able to have it to where, you know, we can pay that 30-year note off in the next 7 to 10 years.
Yep.
You know, and pay it off soon. So then now we can start looking at the next one and the next play and the next play. And
Next
even with,
indications.
and, you know,
Next day.
even with, you know, crypto as well. Like I said, it's not sexy. Like I said, to me, I would just have to do a lot of research to even really feel comfortable even in that space, because that was my biggest thing with some of these is like I just didn't know when to get out.
yeah.
People told me to buy it. I bought it. I don't know when to get out.
When you
All right,
make
I
money.
lost money.
Yeah.
You said what?
You get out when you get a profit.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And then you talk about generational wealth. This is what I say about the stock market. It don't get no more generational than 300 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been there.
Well, once again, I thank you guys. Like I said, taking the time, coming on here,
Appreciate y'all.
I
dropping
learned a
some
lot.
gems.
Learned what an
nwallstreet.com. Got an ebook, drops in the Discord. You know, helps to be able to understand, like I said, even at the very level. He got one too. Go ahead and drop it.
Yeah, and then dash in between. So I also have an ebook. Like I said, it covers the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, NFTs, that whole space. Also doing some stuff here in Kansas City. Future Fridays at Keystone Innovation
Check
District.
that out.
Okay.
Like I said, getting more innovators, creatives in the space. Also have an augmented reality mobile game that we're going to be coming out with, gamifying Kansas City as
Wait,
well.
do I need a Oculus or I need a
No,
Apple
it'll
thing?
it'll be on your phone. It'll be
Okay.
on your phone. So like I said, we want to make sure. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we're putting together, and like for me, like I said, it's having these conversations because a lot of the stuff that I talk about is outside the box, and as we very much well know, Black community makes things cool. I can't make all these great things, and we don't know how it goes. So I appreciate you guys having me on here.
sure.
And
Absolutely.
one thing I wanted to leave everybody with was, I read this book, Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah.
And it was talking about how you have to have money work for you. So essentially, it said that you want money to be soldiers in your army while you lay wait in the castle. So just like investing. Yeah, so Richest Man in Babylon, it's a great book. I think you can get the Audible, or you can get the hardcover. I think it's like maybe $7 on Amazon. Think and Grow Rich is another good book I would recommend as well too. But yeah, you want money to work for you the same way that like I said, as a king, you would have your army go out there and fight those battles. That's what investing does, putting your stuff in real estate, assets, and things like that. So that was my list.
I'm glad he said that, as far as making your money work for you and have the soldiers that go out there and defend your castle and do all that type of stuff. I tell people all the time, when you invest in a company and you invest stock in a company, every company has different divisions, right? They have a technology division, they have a marketing division, they have a sales division, and they have a board that they have to answer to that says, how are you bringing money and value to us? So when you own stock in a company, you have all those divisions of that company working for you, making sure that your value that you hold is increasing. So it's the easiest way when people say, I want to be a boss. It's the easy way to become a boss. It's the easiest path to ownership. I own shares and parts of Apple, right? A $2.8 trillion company. They're going to continue to make money, and they're going to continue to make money for me. So that's one of the key things about investing in the stock market.
I'm trying to pick up all these nuggets.
Well, once
Yeah,
again,
too.
like I said, thank you guys for tuning in. Like,
sure.
share, subscribe. We're on everywhere you can find us. YouTube. What is it? Tidal. I don't know.
Anywhere you can hear
Apple.
stuff in your ears. That's
I mean,
where they
if
at.
you look us up, we're everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're everywhere.
Hey,
So
and share.
Yeah.
Support a
Yep.
support a growing group. We just trying to do something good, so just share. It's free.
Educate y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm Stick Talk Dunny on Instagram. I share a lot of information. The
Yeah, you
Stick
do.
Talk DUNNY.
Not dummy, Dunny.
Dunny.
Dunny. Once again, this is the For Real Podcast, and we gone.